Troubleshooting and Repairs of GSM Phone Part 1. At the end of this topic, you will be able to troubleshoot hardware faults of GSM phones, identify and repair hardware faults of GSM phones, troubleshooting GSM phones. Troubleshoot is the tracing, analyzing and correcting the faults in an electrical or electronic system. In other words, troubleshooting is the systematic approach to find and correct the issues. In a GSM phone, faults may occur due to hardware or software failure. Here, we are going to learn to troubleshoot hardware components of GSM phones. Let us take a GSM phone to check and fix the hardware fault. To troubleshoot the hardware component, the easy method is by software mode. In Samsung mobile phones, we can check the phone condition by dialing *#0* to enter the settings screen. It displays an LCD test screen, wherein we can find some blocks to test the screen color, ringtone, vibrator, LED light, camera, sensors, touchscreen, sleep mode, speaker and key buttons. If any of the blocks are not responding, then we infer that there is a fault in that respective component. Now, we are going to see how to identify and repair the hardware components of the GSM phones. Identify and repair hardware faults. Troubleshooting antenna and service port. To troubleshoot the antenna, the following steps should be carried out. First step is to check whether the phone is receiving proper signal from the network provider. If the network signal is weak, then the fault might be in the tower signal or in the network antenna. To check the tower signal, go to Network Settings and click Manual Mode. Now, it displays the list of networks in the range. Click on the registered network and check for the signal strength. If the problem persists, reset the network settings and check again. Most of the times, the problem resolves, else the problem is considered to be in the hardware component. To check the hardware component, remove the back case and identify the network plate or antenna of the mobile. Clean the network plate with IP solution and heat it. Then check for the network signal. If the problem occurs again, then check for track continuity. If the problem persists, it's time to replace the network plate or the antenna. Another method is checking the condition of the antenna using the multimeter. Set the multimeter in ohms range. Connect the probe to the antenna connector. If the meter shows value, then the antenna is in good condition. Otherwise, the antenna has to be replaced. Troubleshooting LCD screen. To check the LCD screen, initially, check the brightness of the screen in display settings. If it is not working, then we have to replace the touch screen. Initially, use a blower with low temperature around the edges of the screen to remove the display. Use an opener to remove the display from the mobile and ensure care while removing the display strip. This is the display connector and touch connector. We can remove the touch connector from the display connector using an opener. To check the touch connector, take a multimeter and keep it in ohms range. While connecting the probe, if it shows any value, then the component is in good condition. Otherwise, replace it with a new one. Troubleshooting power pack. Usually, the mobile battery voltage is 3.7 volts or 4.2 volts. It is specified in the battery itself. To check the voltage, take a multimeter and keep the range as 20 volts DC. Connect the probe in the plus and minus terminal of the battery. If the multimeter shows the exact voltage as specified, then the battery is in good condition. Otherwise, replace the battery. To check the battery pin connector, there are two types of battery connectors, namely pin type and interference type. To check the battery pin connector in pin type, Check the soldering point first. Then, take a multimeter and set it in ohms range. Place the probes between the battery pin and the soldering pad. If a beep sound is heard, then the battery pin is in good condition. Otherwise, replace the damaged part with a new one. To check the battery pin connector in interference type, take a multimeter with the same ohms range. Check for continuity. If beep sound is heard, then there is a fault in the battery pin and it needs to be replaced. Troubleshooting keypad switch. To troubleshoot the keypad switch, remove IC from the keypad panel. The keypads are connected row-wise and column-wise. Check the internal and external lines using the multimeter kept in the ohms range. If we get the values while connecting the probe, then it is in good condition. Otherwise, connect the lines by soldering. Troubleshooting charging system. Locate the charging point and clean it using a blower. Check the charging point for physical damage. The charging point has 5 pins, namely positive, ground, and 3 signal pins. If there is no problem in the charging point, then check the supply from the charging point to the battery pin. To check the continuity, use a multimeter. Connect the probe and check the keypad. If the multimeter displays any value, then the keypad is connected properly. Otherwise, solder the disconnected part. Troubleshooting microphone. To test the microphone, take a multimeter and set it in ohms range. Connect the probe to the exact terminal of the microphone, that is, positive to positive terminal and negative to negative terminal. The multimeter has to show some value. If we interchange the terminal, it should not show any value. If the above criteria are satisfied, then the microphone is said to be in good condition. If not, replace the microphone with a new one. Troubleshooting speaker. In mobile speaker, there is no positive or negative terminal. It works when it is connected to the IC. To check the speaker, take a multimeter and set it in ohms range. Connect the probe to the 2 pins of the speaker. If it shows reading and there is a beep sound, then the speaker is in good condition. If we interchange the probe, it has to show the same reading. Otherwise, replace the speaker with a new one. Troubleshooting ringer. To check the ringer or vibrator, connect multimeter probe to the 2 terminals of the vibrator. Keep the multimeter in ohms range. Make sure that the probes are not touching each other. If beep sound is heard along with some values, then it indicates that the vibrator is in good condition. Troubleshooting SIM terminal. Before troubleshoot the SIM terminal, check the signal quality and signal strength in the mobile network settings. To check the SIM terminal, keep the multimeter in ohms range. Check all the terminals one by one using the probe. If the multimeter shows some values, then the SIM terminal is in good condition. Otherwise, solder the non-connected terminal using a soldering iron. Troubleshooting switch port. To check the switch port, connect a multimeter which is kept in ohms range. Connect the probe between the 2 terminals of the power button. If we hear a beep sound, then the switch port is in good condition. Otherwise, replace it with a new one. Thus, we can identify and repair the faults in hardware components of GSM phones. Summary. In this topic, you have learned to troubleshoot hardware faults of GSM phones, identify and repair hardware faults such as antenna, service port, LCD screen, power pack, keypad switch, charging system, microphone, speaker, ringer, SIM terminal, switch port.